Hey everyone, it is Deanna. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're returning. If you are, definitely appreciate it. So today we're going to be doing a teacher story time, which I don't think I have on my channel yet. So it's like a historical, well, not like, it is a historical moment. And if you know me well, then you know how much I love historical moments and just experiencing or doing things for the first time. So let's just get straight into it. I was pregnant, obviously, in November a few years ago, and I was exactly 4 weeks out from my due date. And so I'm waddling into work one morning, and I'm coming in like a different entrance than what the teachers typically use, because the entrance that the students come into has an elevator there. And I'm pretty much at the point in the pregnancy where I'm a hot mess, like a waddling hot mess. And so I need the elevator to get up the steps, and I'm wearing my like black tights, well, not tights, but kind of like tights, like not dress pants, but not like skin tight tights, if you know what I mean. They have a little bit of a flare at the bottom. Have on my maternity shirt and some Crocs, like not the Crocs brand shoes that are loafers or cute. I'm talking about the in your garden, spray some water on them because it's gonna roll right off because they're rubber, those kind of Crocs. So yeah, I'm a hot mess at this point. And so a grandparent stops me at the door and she's like, "Oh, when are you having your baby?" And I tell her, actually in exactly 4 weeks, because I was exactly 1 month out from my due date. And so she looks at me and she was like, we'll see. And I'm like, we will see. I am not about to have my baby now because, well, honestly, I was very underprepared. Like, I was in no wise prepared to have my baby at the time that I actually did, but praise the Lord, it all worked out anyhow. So, you know, I waddle up the steps, and it's a Wednesday morning, and this is the day that I actually am gonna have my long-term sub come in, Miss Ramirez. Shout out to her, best sub ever. And so,
let's go.
Come here. So here he is about 3 years later. Say hi.
I wanna go.
You wanna go? Say hi, vlog.
I wanna go.
You're my favorite baby.
Mom.
Okay, mommy's gonna stay here and finish, okay?
Okay.
So, yeah, my long-term sub comes in that day. She's supposed to be shadowing me for 3 days just to see, like, what are my rituals and routines like, what's my, you know, style of instruction, get a feel for the kids, and just see how things work in my second grade classroom. And so I am so, get away from that. I'm so happy to have her here that day, because anyone who's ever been pregnant, or maybe if you haven't, if you've just been around or worked around or lived around a pregnant person, you know that the further along the pregnancy goes, the more they have to go to the bathroom. Like, you just have to pee all the time when you're pregnant, especially towards the end. And so it just worked out perfectly that I had a sub already in my classroom, because now I'm not trying to flag somebody down or find someone to watch my class while I run out to the restroom. Like, it was so bad, guys. I would be listen for footsteps in the hallway to see like who is walking by. Is this a person that actually has a class now? And if they're not, then I would always ask like, hey, can you cover my class for a minute while I run to the restroom? So this day I go to the restroom, and I'm a little bit upset because we're gonna pause right here and just fast forward. If TMI is TMI for you, then just like skip ahead a little bit. So I'm a little bit upset when I go to the bathroom, because I realize that I'm already peeing before I make myself pee. And I'm just like, doggone it. All these years, you know, that I've given to the teaching profession, and this is what I get in return. My bladder has now failed me because I have to hold it all the time, and I can't really go when I need to. What are you doing? So yeah, I'm kind of upset about that, but you know, what can I do about it at this point? Like, as far as I know, my bladder is ruined, right? So I go back to class, and that morning I was giving my students, I was giving them a phonics and language test, and I'm kind of showing Ms. Ramirez how to do it, how it's done, because like that's what she's gonna be doing when I'm gone. So at one point during the phonics and language test, I get like the strongest urge that I really need to pee. But I'm like, I'll hold it, I'm giving the test, I'll go after. But then I realized, like, dang it, it's too late. I think I just peed my pants. And it is a really good thing that I was wearing those black tights that day, because that could have been a particularly embarrassing situation. So I'm like, when I realized that I peed my pants, I'm like, Miss Ramirez, I really have to go to the bathroom. And she just kind of takes over for me at that point. And come to think of it, that really is when she took over, because I never came back to teach after that. So I go to the bathroom and I realize that I had an accident, but I still have to pee. So it's like I'm still peeing, but then I realize, like, wait a minute, like I'm still peeing and peeing and peeing. Like normally when you go to the bathroom, at some point you stop, but it seems like I'm not really stopping. And that's when I have my light bulb moment, like, haha, perhaps your water broke. Like, could be. I know we're not due for another 4 weeks, another whole month. But maybe, just maybe, that's what happened. And so I thought about what that grandparent had said early in the morning, like, we'll see. She was right. Like, she knew what she was talking about. She was absolutely correct. So I still at this point am not, like, I think my water broke, but I'm not really sure, because this is my first pregnancy, my first child. I just don't know really what's going on. And you know how in the movies it's like the woman's water breaks, like there's waters that spilled all over the floor, like a baby pops out. It's not really what happens. And perhaps on my part, I should have done a little bit more research about, like, you know, water breaking and what that whole experience really entails and what it's like, but I had not. And so, you know, I'm just kind of like learning as I go, building the plane and flying it at the same time, as my friend Christina says. So I go back and I tell Miss Ramirez, like, hey, I think my water might have broken. And she's looking at me really wide-eyed, like, what? You know, because she's supposed to be shadowing for 3 days. She's not really expecting to take over yet. And I don't have everything prepared. Like, my maternity sub plans are not nearly done. Not nearly. And so I go up to the front office. There's a little bit of a buzz up there, so I kind of have to wait until, you know, my turn to talk to the registrar. And I'm like, hey, I think my water broke. And so I don't really remember what they say. Like, it's about 3 years ago. The details are starting to get a little bit fuzzy. Like some of the finer, smaller details, getting a little bit fuzzy. So anyway, they send me home. I gather up my little bag of things that I still need to work on, papers to grade, like homework packet to make for the weekend. I usually start making the homework packet on Wednesdays because it goes home on Fridays. I take this stuff home, I call my husband, and it's a good thing that he's off that day. Like, I forget, some Wednesdays, you know, he's off, but I forget that he's actually off this Wednesday. And when I get home and he's there, I'm like, hey, what are you doing home? Speaking of husband, here he is. A husband called, and where were we? What was I talking about? I pack up my bag, get ready to go home, and in my mind, I'm thinking that I'm gonna go home and just hang out and chill at the house with my husband. We'll probably go grab a bite for lunch because lunchtime had not happened yet, and you know that every pregnant woman is not gonna miss a meal. Well, maybe not every pregnant woman. I just know that, like, pregnant or not, I just don't miss meals. Like, when people say they forget to eat, I'm just like, I get home and he is like, okay, we have to go to the hospital right now. And I'm like, no, I haven't eaten yet. I want lunch. And he's like, no, we need to go to the hospital. And it's a little fly in here. So he's like, no, we need to go to the hospital right away. And I'm just like, dang it, I want my lunch, you know? And so we end up going to the hospital. I have my teacher bag with me because I still am working on lesson plans. I wasn't prepared. So we get to the hospital and I just know this is like not going to end well, because anytime you go to the hospital, they basically tell you that you cannot eat. And who knows how long I'm gonna be in this hospital, right? So we get there, sure enough, I tell them, hey, I'm hungry, hadn't had my lunch yet, can I have some Zaxby's? Like, can I have a Zaxby salad? And they're like, no, you know, we need to check you out, you can't eat yet. They do confirm that my water is broken, and so I'm like, wow, I'm really about to have this baby. And so I am there, I'm in labor. This is maybe around a little before noontime, and I'm in labor. I don't really realize that I'm in labor, but I am, and I'm like grading papers and like chit-chatting it up. We've called some friends, like they're at the hospital now. Some family members are at the hospital, and so they have me on the monitor and everything, and we're gonna, should I like tell the whole story or just the part about being at school? I don't know. I think I'll cut it off here, and if you guys want to hear like the whole thing, because it was a whole situation, like I had the nurse from you know where, and yeah, I think I'll just do that in a separate video. But that is my story. My water broke while I was teaching. I was giving a phonics and language test. Thank God that my long-term sub was already there. You know, I'm pretty sure she did not expect to take over as quickly as she had to, because I left and I never came back for like another 8 weeks. So, yeah, that's my story. Let me know down in the comments below. Have you ever gone into labor while you were teaching? Or, you know, did you teach all the way up until you were due? How did all of that work? I would love to hear your story. Go ahead and share it with me in the comments. Let me know if you want to hear like the rest of it, and I'll make a video. So thanks for watching, guys. Just wanted to share that video to commemorate my son's birthday, which is coming up in just a few days. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. It would mean a lot to me, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.